the cloud. Okay, it is done. I tend from time to time forget to record our calls, and then I can't upload it on the server. It's an important thing is what I'm going to talk about this evening. Again, let me repeat here, folks. My name is let's try this again. Christian Jengra. I'm actually, yeah, you can tell I'm French. I can't even tell my French name in English. My name is Chris, and I'm Christian Jengra Diamond with Max International. I'll be hosting this evening the Go for Diamond webinar on radical duplication with my beautiful wife, Tammy. And Tammy and I have been in Max for well over 13 and a half years now, almost 14 years, as a matter of fact. And we've been in this industry from, in my case, well over 25 years full time. I think we're going on 26. I've been saying 25 a few years now. So the fact here, folks, is that there is some really important point that we want to share with you that we believe can really help you, of course, if you do take action on some of the things that we're going to share with you. At the end of the day, there are some constants in life that just never change, like gravity. It doesn't matter if we're dealing 10 years ago, 2 years ago, 6 months ago, or yesterday. There are some principles that are extremely important to create an organization, to sustain an organization, and also to have success building an organization such as this business opportunity with Max International. Tammy, you want to say a few words before we begin?
I'm excited to get started here because I know that it's critical to have a great duplicatable system if you want to succeed in our business model. And trust me, Chris and I have gone through trial and error and ups and downs and teams growing, teams falling, and through the journey of this process, we had a lot of learning experiences, and we still get our learning experiences every time we get on different courses. We might know a lot of the basics of what to do, but sometimes something really interesting comes along, or a different way of saying something, and it just makes it more exciting. So yeah, go ahead, Chris, let's get this started.
Sure. Just maybe a little bit of protocol for those of you that are on Facebook Live, or if you happen to be here with us on Zoom. If there's anything that you like, you know what, share some love. Give us a heart. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know, how we're doing. Or if you have any comments or question, you need some clarity. Again, please don't be shy. Share. Let us know we're doing well. You have questions. Maybe you need some clarity in some areas. So this is really, really important. The more we can interact with you, the better the training will be. But then again, Tammy, we're very prepared. We know exactly what to talk about. And also, I wanted to mention, Tammy and I, and we'll talk about this, but Tammy and I spent a lot of time and resources on personal growth and mentoring and mentors and, people coming from, the outside world. And we, thank you, Luz, really appreciate that. Um, you know, we've got so much information from the Eric Worries and all the millionaires that are within the circle of Eric Worries, and I'm telling you, folks, the training that you're going to see here this evening is a summary of all of that, and it's really interesting because I don't know why I'm always amazed, but like I said, constants are constants, right? There are some principles that work regardless of who does what. They're just principles that are the base foundation to have success within our organization. So in getting started, what's I think very important here to ask the question is, are you duplicatable? See, we teach, we preach, follow the system. But are we doing it? Or are we just shortcutting it? And I'm telling you, this is something that I can also relate to, because I remember even today, sometimes we're going to shortcut certain areas to skip certain steps. And when we do that, it always has a repercussion. And in fact, we'll talk to you about it as we continue on the following slides. We'll share you why. See, you learn more by what you do than what you say. You can tell someone to do something, but people tend to follow through when they see you do that thing. What are your thoughts, Tammy?
Always walk the talk. That's the big thing, is people are watching you constantly as you sign people up in this business. At first, they came in because of you more than anything, and they believe that you can lead them and guide them. so that they can accomplish their dreams. So you want to be out there constantly leading and teaching and guiding, and that will be duplicated when people see it come from you first. I always say the first circle in your organization is you. So you need to duplicate the system, and by duplicating the system, you're actually building your organization, and your team members are going to see that as well.
Now, Tammy and I know that many of you really want to make some money with Max. And folks, trust me, you can. The money is on the table. This is the reason why Tammy and I put our picture there, is we're asking you the question is, what you do, is it duplicatable? And that's a very important question that you need to ask yourself. See, everything you do sets an example, right? What others think they need to do. So what's happening here is it's important that you understand that what we're about to share with you, it's not some information that we put together for the sake of looking or sounding good this evening. These are practical constants, if applied, will serve you well. And there's 7 really kind of topic that we want to cover today that I really believe if you do take that seriously, you will see results within months, definitely within before the end of the year within your organization when it comes to your paycheck. And I can almost guarantee if you do these things, your numbers will increase, your checks will increase, and the attendance of your organization will increase.
And it starts with the small step philosophy. Never underestimate the potential impact of every step you make or a decision you make in this business, no matter how small or insignificant it may seem at the time, because it is a journey. You need to understand that every single step counts. Just make sure that the steps that you do are going up and you're not taking steps backwards. So always do something every single day in your business that's going to move you towards your goal, to move you towards your target, whether it's a weekly target or a monthly target. So whatever it is that moves you towards it. And don't beat yourself up in the process, because you're going to have great days where you're like totally on your game. And then you're going to have days where you said you were going to do things and you're not going to follow through with it like you had intended. Don't beat yourself up. The next day you can make up for it. And that's what I always tell myself too. I can make up for it. And just don't overwhelm yourself on too much in one day. It's better to say you're going to do less and accomplish it than to put too much and get disappointed. So the decisions you've made in the past will be reflected in your present. So always do something daily. And I'm telling you, you will get there. It's just timing and practice.
Sorry, Tammy. Yeah, I totally agree. And folks, again, I want to reiterate that the decision you made in the past will be reflected in your present. So in other words, at the end of the day here is don't be too caught up on past decisions. Today is a new day. I'm glad, Mireille, that you mentioned that you need to learn how to duplicate well. And you're absolutely correct. And that's the reason why we decided to do this training this evening. And I know that many of you have seen us do duplication training in the past, but we go into a bit more details on the ABCs of what you need to do and what you need to teach others. Because remember, it's not just about what you do, but it's also about what the people that you bring into your team will do after you've done the work. And this is why I'm asking you, are you duplicatable? And it starts by believing in yourself. Self-belief is extremely important. People, I'm not kidding, don't necessarily sign up because of your wonderful product or because of the wonderful company. It is part of it. Nobody wants snake oil. We understand that. But people sign up because of you. People follow people. I am telling you. A lot of time, the amateur in this kind of business are so caught up in selling products And it's part of the process. I'm not saying because you're selling products, you're not mature. What I'm saying is that's all their focus is. The fact is, people want a better life. People want a better future. And they will follow you because of you and because of what you've said, because of what you presented in front of them. If you lack belief in yourself, it will reflect upon yourself when they are evaluating this opportunity. And that's why we bring this here, right? So the fact here is, it is not what you say, but it is how you feel about what you say. You know, often you probably heard me say, or Tammy in the past, it's not what you say, but how you say it. That's what it is. And that will portray into your confidence in yourself. And folks, listen, it's okay to doubt. It's normal to doubt. But the fact is, there is so much evidence, knowledge, training, calls to help you minimize the doubt to a point where there is no doubt anymore. There is no question anymore, without a shred of a doubt that you can be successful and you know that these products will have an impact in people's lives. I would say that a significant part of the world is aware of that. The question is, do you believe you can earn a living out of this? And the fact is, your faith turns into your belief, right? The faith that you give into the industry, the company, the product, into yourself. Many of you have seen trainings that Tammy and I have done in the past on that, right? So that faith that turns into your belief will basically turn your belief into your passion. This is the reason I remember at first I didn't know how to take this, but people used to call me Mr. Passion. Why would they call me Mr. Passion? And I came to understand that I'm very passionate about what I do. Tammy's very passionate about what I do. And I know many of you here on the call or on Facebook Live here, you are passionate about what this product can do for someone else, about what this opportunity can do for someone else, or it can do for you. That passion is what is magnetic. This is what will get people to want to follow you. And that's why I started earlier by saying people don't sign up with the company because of the company and the product. They sign up because of you. Of course, the product and the opportunity will play a role. There's no question there. But they can sign up with anybody, or they can sign up with any other companies. It's usually 99.9% reason is you, the individual, that the person will sign up or want to be part of this business venture. Any thoughts on this, Tammy?
Yeah, I just want to add something there, especially if you're leading a team right now. People will go over the top to when you believe in them. So always focus on elevating people in your business, in your team. Always focus on how can you guide to get them to the next level, because our goal as leaders is to help people build their belief to one step, belief to another step, to another step. So if you're new in the business, you're building your own belief. And the best way to build your own belief is to go out there and practice and connect and just take action. And in that action process, you start to build your confidence and belief that you can actually do it.
Brilliant.
And that extra part of it is when you surround yourself with people who believe in you. And that'll take you to another level.
You're absolutely correct. And I love your feedback here, Mireille, because consistency is absolutely critical. And we'll talk about that as we move forward over here. And Olga, I love when you say, I absolutely believe. That is a statement. That's what we're talking about. That belief is what will transform your results. I'm not kidding. Brilliant. I really appreciate that. So as we keep stepping forward into the different points that we want to cover, number 3 is in the mindset. Folks, listen, you must always be positive. I cannot stress this enough. For example, if challenges occurs, which we know challenge happens, it's called life. And when challenges occurs, let me ask you, do you gossip within your downline? or do you go upline? And this is the expression: negative goes up, positive goes down. So if something you're not happy about or something is not going the way that you would expect it to go, you never go and start filtering this through your downline. You go upline to get the feedback that you need. These are some of the principles that Tammy and I have learned for years, because I remember way back when, I started, I was new at this. I did not understand network marketing. I think I was like, I don't know, 25 or 26. I forgot exactly how old I was. And, I was a little frustrated. And you know what? Your downline becomes your best friends. And here's the thing. You start, you don't mean to gossip, but you start talking about what's not going well in your downline, right? Now, guess what? The problem is solved next week. But the problem is that issue that I brought up years and years ago now is continuing to filter down, and the problem's gone. So it's really, really important that what you portray out there, what you talk about, and Tammy, I'll let you finish the slide over here. What you talk about is it will impact people. The conscious mind and the unconscious mind, I'm telling you, look at if you look at the iceberg over here, right? The conscious mind is the smallest part that everybody sees, that it's quite obvious to the world. But there's a big, significant amount underwater that nobody sees. The unconscious mind is so powerful, and what you keep telling yourself and repeating yourself, I am not kidding, will be what will remain. Go ahead, Tammy.
And the two quotes that you're seeing there are a perfect example. What you are what you think about. Whatever you put out there in your mind first, in your thoughts first, then you're moving towards, especially when you create an emotional response to it. That's why I love vision boards. Everybody should have a vision board, whether they're in network marketing or not, and to always evolve with your vision. And when you see something you truly desire, the emotion kicks in. And what happens is all of a sudden the universe brings things into your life that you would never have expected, so that you can move towards that goal or that dream that you've always wanted. So the key is to always focus on your goals, your desires, the goals and desires of your team members. Help them and guide them to move towards it. None of us are perfect. We all have great days. We all have bad days. When you catch yourself in a bad day, you have to pay attention to the thoughts that you have and the words that you are speaking, because it's so powerful. The tongue is so strong, and we need to pay attention to that. So you might as well put it into a great perspective and a goal and something that's going to move you towards something magnificent in your life.
Bill, you're absolutely correct. Wayne Dyer said that is you become what you think. That is absolutely true. I really appreciate this comment. So in a mindset, what's very important is, and I know that Tammy and I had a conversation on that, and I think she was discussing this with Olga, and I thought it was actually a brilliant topic, is, having fun, be fun, create fun. I tend to be kind of coming from the engineering background, right? I'm kind of a numbers guy. I'm a little bit boring, I have to admit. And my wife is more colorful and fun and everything else. And folks, this is important also. It is really, really critical, right? So it's what a team is all about. Is the team combined together brings different personalities, different elements to really contribute to exactly having that mindset of fun. And folks, your attitude is so critical. That's why the very first training that Tammy and I do every time we open a new market is the attitude training, right? If your thinking is stinking, your organization is shrinking. So, sometimes if you're asking yourself, why is my team falling apart? Why is my team not growing? Why is it shrinking? Well, maybe it has to do, the fact is that they're not having fun. They lost sight of why they're doing this. And fun is part of the process, right? Tammy, what are your thoughts on that?
Or maybe just in your head, you're thinking of what your team is not. rather than seeing the greatness within people and bring the best out of these people. Because not everybody is you. Not everybody can do what you do, but find what people, the characteristics of your team members, and how can you bring this all together? And I'm telling you, you've got lots of great skills within yourself. Find those skills and talents that you have. Start writing out the skills and talents that you're seeing within your team. Have them write it out and come together and find what you can create as a powerful team. Create a powerful team name. Create a powerful team culture. And you'll see this will grow much, much bigger than you ever expected.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. And thank you, Allison. Great, wonderful feedback. Really appreciate. And here's the thing here, folks, and we spent a bit of time on the mindset, because mindset is everything. It's so important. It is the foundation to every single step in building your business and your marriage and your family and your spiritual life, because I know there's different versions for different people. But the point here, folks, is you need to understand that your mindset is everything. And one of the things that we've been trying to embed into the culture of our organization and our teams all over the world. And as I'm doing this training is shared into my leadership in Ghana and my leadership in Nigeria and the Max Global Diamond, where the Philippine team is also part of that. And so the point here is very important what you teach and what you share. And one thing, one thing that's very important, I took my CellGVD too soon before the call, didn't drink enough water, and I think the black pepper is coming back up because I'm all excited as I'm sharing here. So very important here, folks, is to plug in to personal development. I cannot stress this enough. I mean, Tammy spent a lot of resources on personal development to work on ourselves. We've been doing that for years. Books, audios, videos, right? I even bought a brand new Bible about 3 months ago because I need to go back to the basics when it comes to leadership, when it comes to the story of humanity. And I don't mean that you need to go get the Bible. I'm just sharing what I did, right? There's a book, The Alchemist, that was referenced that I really loved. And there's some incredible gold nuggets in there. It's part of me now for the rest of my life. Now I'm reading The Path, a phenomenal book in reference to, setting your mission statement and your goals and how do you organize your life, right? Book, audio, videos. It's important, folks. You need to keep evolving. You can't just sit back and only watch Netflix and Apple TV and what else is there? Facebook Prime and so forth. Not Facebook, excuse me. I'm all confused here. Amazon Prime and Disney. Folks, listen. You can get really buried in all of this stuff. And I'm not saying it's bad. What I'm saying is you also need to spend time on your personal learning. Zoom session, as we are doing this evening, conference calls, now they're mainly webinars, team calls, which is what tonight is all about. See, if you are the only one attending, your team won't grow. But if your team participate, your team will grow. And folks, don't fear that your team may be turned off. And trust me, the information that we provide is so important. And as I stated in a video that Tammy did on Facebook Live this morning, or was it yesterday, what we talked about here is a significant amount of diamonds in Max right now that are getting paid as diamonds that we see every single year at the diamond retreats are people that we had the opportunity to work with and mentor once upon a time and still today. And they're following the guidelines that we showed them that we did in the past. So that's why we invite you, but not just you, but if you bring someone new into your team, don't isolate them all by themselves, because if they don't get exposed to something bigger, they won't last. Right? That's why events and conference, we'll finish with the events this evening, where there's something coming up in October. Really important. Again, what is your mindset? in reference to personal development, books, audio, videos, Zoom calls, team calls, and events. You need to work on that. I cannot stress this enough. This is part of the personal growth.
I just want to add one thing to that part, Chris, is, you may come into the business and you don't have a lot of time. You might have a job that's taking a lot of your time, or family, children, whatever it is, but you may bring people within your organization that have the time, that can totally thrive with this. And as Chris and I always did, is plug people into the system. And sometimes you got to duck and let them grow and let them evolve and let them put all of this, even if you can't put everything into this, and support and empower and inspire people to constantly grow. Because sometimes your organization will pass you. Sometimes that's going to happen within an organization. And you don't want to get disappointed because you're going to poo-poo on your team, right? You want to elevate them, celebrate them, and let them thrive to a whole new level. And this is really important because we've seen sabotage happen in this organization over the years because of ego. Don't let ego get in the way of your business. Investing in yourself when it comes to goals. You got to take the time to put into what you want to achieve. You don't just randomly go out there and build this. You got to have a plan. You got to have an action strategy on what you want to accomplish in your week, in your month, in the year, setting your goals and your vision. What do you want to get out of this? When do you want to achieve that goal? How do you want to achieve it? What strategy have you put together? And why? More than anything, it's why do you want to achieve it? Because you're going to hit walls. It's called normal, right? So you want to make sure that your why is so impactful that it moves you forward. If it doesn't move you to want to pass that hurdle that you might be going through in this exact moment, then your why is not big enough. You got to go bigger or deeper into your why. Put it in writing. Always put it in writing, because when you write things down, other things start to come to mind, and things will open up that you wouldn't even expect if you would have just kept it here in your head. You got to dump things on paper, because that's how you learn and grow. And daily activities, you want to have goals on those and visualize it all the time. Everything that you want, you got to see it, and you got to see it like you've already got it. And that's how I walk around with everything that I have, is because I saw it. It was a thought, and then we materialize that goal by focus on moving towards it. And all these great things came our way to make it happen. And if we can do it, anybody can do it.
I totally agree, Tammy. Folks, listen, a really great quote from Zig Ziglar. This is a guy that I've learned, that I've listened to, because my dad at one point bought these cassettes. He started Amway, and again, no disrespect meant to the company at all. He got these cassettes from there, and he started to read about it. At the time, I wanted nothing to do with this industry. I didn't have any idea what it was. I just didn't understand it. And there's a story behind that. I'll spare you this evening on the details there. But the point here is I started listening to this man. And I actually remember, the poor man is not he who is without a cent, but he who is without a goal. I remember that burned into my brain at a young age, as a matter of fact. So this is extremely important what Tammy just shared with you. I cannot stress this enough. So in continuing and investing in yourself, personal growth is extremely important. I was speaking to my daughter today, and, she was talking about she wants to expand her business, and she needs money, and I know what she's getting at. But the fact here is she needs to learn like we all did. So I was explaining to her a little bit of some of the basics, and it's okay to pay interest. It's just the way the bank makes money. But in return, the bank lends you the money so you can expand your business, and that way everybody makes money. It is the way of the world, right? But she says, "Well, the interest's too big." Well, not really. I mean, again, it's if it's all budgeted, you can make it work. And I sent her this actually this quote from Jim Rohn: "What if you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse." I mean, I'm sure most of you will agree with that. And that is a fact. So the fact here is, folks, when you start growing, the impact that it will have in your life will change not just your max business, it will change you. It will change the way people around you sees you and feels about you. I am not kidding, right? So we live in a very negative world. Let's face it, we know that, right? I don't know if you're like me, but it's the smell in the air. If you install, it's weird. It's awkward. The things and decisions that are making, and the things they're imposing, and it's just. I mean, 2019 is. I kind of missed that year, right? We're in a different era. But I keep telling myself, Chris, focus on the positive aspect of life, because there's always two sides to every story. So one thing that I may recommend for you to do, as I did in the past, Jim Rohn has always been, I never met the man, but man, did he ever impact my life. And you can actually go to YouTube and you can search for The Art of Exceptional Living audiobook. It's there, it's free. And it's amazing the amount of information. It reminded me back, oh my God, 14 years ago, even 18 years ago, as a matter of fact, Tammy and I, when we were going from Ottawa to Toronto for a couple of guests and nobody showed up, and then we come back from Toronto to Ottawa. I don't know if you remember, Tammy, right? And spend the hotel, the money and everything else for no shows. It's just the way people are, right? They don't care. They don't value anything. But we were committed to our business. And as this was happening, what happens is we were listening to these audiobooks, to these CDs. I remember my car was my sanctuary, my educational university, matter of speaking, the way of the world. And you know what? Listen to that. It's phenomenal. Challenge to succeed. Unbelievable. This man, there's so much wisdom on what he shares. Beautiful, beautiful. And this is the kind of thing that kept us going when things were difficult.
Oh yeah. Do you remember Personal Power and oh my gosh, what was the other one? There was so many.
Get the Edge.
Yeah, Get the
Anthony
Edge.
Robbins. Yeah.
So many personal development training that Chris and I and many of us that were part of that core group that hung out together, we all grew together. And it was fun. So that's another thing that you want to instill within your organization is maybe a book club, a learning process, something that you can work together and go through some different elements on that book or on that audiobook or whatever it is that you're listening to. It's fun when you're all on the same page and everybody's growing together. So yeah, Chris is talking about this book called The Path with Lori Beth Jones. Write that down. The Path, Lori Beth Jones. She goes, and we're just starting. She goes into detail on how to create a mission statement, your personal mission statement, not the company. The company has a mission statement. We each individually have our own mission statements. So if you don't have one or you want to become better, and she talks about keeping it simple, that a 12-year-old can do a mission statement. A 12-year-old can repeat this mission statement. So it has to be simple, it has to be clear, and it has to be impactful. So we're only on chapter 2. And I recommend to constantly evolve in things that you want to accomplish in your life, because it's going to impact your life, not just your Max business. Okay. And when your kids see that, imagine what you're going to do for your children or your adult children that might be a little bit lost today.
I totally agree.
Yeah. So investing in yourself always. Getting knocked down in life is a given. We all know that. We all get knocked down. I don't care what stage we are in our lives. We all get knocked down. Getting up and moving forward is really a choice. And, some of the greatest philosophers back in the early days of our career in network marketing, a lot of these quotes have kept us going.
I agree. I agree. And as we keep moving forward, now we move into to the stage number 5 is, listen, folks, take responsibility on your learning. I'll come back to this in a minute, where you can find these trainings in a moment. But in your prospecting, into your following up, into your three-way calls, into your personal development, right? And moving forward into your relationships, the relationship with your downline, the relationship with your upline, the relationship with the company, right? The people you deal with, the relationship and your family and your significant others within your home. It's really important. Take responsibility in your attitude towards this business, towards the commitment that you made and wanted to make a difference financially, into your message, into the time that you spend and where you spend your time, right? These are responsibilities, and you need to take that seriously, right? It's not, oh, I heard it before. Maybe you did, but are you applying it? And because of lack of, if that's the case, are you still really prepared? Or should you go back to those trainings to be able to follow through, to be able to do these basic activities that I was just sharing earlier, because these are what we call the money-making activities, right? You go ahead, Tammy.
I just want to go back to take responsibility in your relationships, because that one in particular it really stands out. We are in a business of service. And when somebody comes in the organization, it's all about that person. It's all about celebrating that person, guiding that person, helping them engage and get started, and working with them through a new associate orientation, and be there when they need you. Don't just assume or just say, oh, they'll call me whenever they need me. No, you need to be there for your people. And when you're there for your people, you're building that trust. You're building that solid relationship. People leave people, not companies. And we all need to learn this and understand this, because if you are there for your people, they will always stay. Very important message.
So Tammy, why don't you go through the 6?
All right. So number 6, investing time management. It's all about scheduling your day, because if you don't schedule it, it's going to control your whole day. We all know that. We all been through it, where you didn't put anything down. You, in your head, you knew what you needed to do, and at the end of the day's gone. It's like, I got nothing done. We've all done this before. So you want to put your day on paper always the night before. First thing in the morning, you look at your schedule through the day. So you see what you have lined up. And in your schedule, you want to have some playtime. Let's face it. We all need downtime. We need playtime with our teammates. And then you want to have your no playtime, which is your work schedule. So you have to create that. That's your decision. You are all independent. We are all independent in Max. It's up to me every day what I want to put in my schedule to build my business. And if I'm hungry and I want to get to another level, it's going to be a business focused agenda. So same thing. It's for like that for everybody. So know your priorities. What is it? What's a priority in our business? People. We're in a business of service. So our priority is to prospect, invite, follow up, see where people are at, bring more value, sign them up, get them started right, create some team culture, team trainings, and so on and so forth. That's what we do. This has got to be in your calendar. This is your business, so take it serious. Who are you spending time with? Are you spending time with people who are just pulling you down and complaining and all of this stuff? Or are you spending your time with people who are hungry and want to build this? So your time is valuable. Okay, so you got to spend your time with the right people. They always say, pick your five that you can help get to another level. And ask yourself every day, what's the most important thing I need to do, that I need to get done today, that's going to move me towards my goal? Okay, that is got to be on your schedule. And talk to more people. Always have new business evolving.
I totally agree, Tammy. And actually, Suzanne, I really appreciate the feedback where if you feel challenged, just reach up, right? Reach out to your leadership and ask for help, ask for support. As a matter of fact, I constantly do this with different teams around the world where I will do small calls with a group of leaders to kind of help them kind of re-rail themselves because the team's been derailed a little bit because of everything that's been going on and things that are going up. And at the end of the day, in a year from now, 2 years from now, all this will be in the past. And the people that stuck it through, that stayed the course, are going to benefit of this entire thing, right? And this is kind of often my approach. Now, obviously, there's different situations, different strategies that I use, but the point is they reach out. And as they reach out, we organize calls, sessions with different groups. Sometimes it's 2 people, sometimes it's 50 people, sometimes it's less. It doesn't matter. The point here is reach out. And thank you, Maripal, for the reference for the book. This is awesome. Right. So, and that's right, mate. It's scheduling everything. It's really, really, really important. And number 7, folks, now we're getting into really important. That's the last point I want to talk about before we get into the gritty details on the system itself is trust, right? There is no greater trust than the trust you placed in yourself. It needs to begin with you. Really, really important. Next one, Tammy. Super important.
And be there for your people, because not everybody is in the same situation as you. So you want to be empathetic with people, understand, and be a great listener. Sometimes people just need you to listen and not say anything, just so that they can just let things out. And you can guide people in the process if it's needed in that session, but you feel it out. And the goal is always to make people feel good about themselves, make people feel good about decisions that they made, and help people get out of the stuck. Because we've all been in there. We all get all of this. And there's nothing worse than being stuck. There's nothing worse than wanting to move forward, but something keeps holding you back. Sometimes people don't even know what it is. I know that in the past, I had a lot of difficulty believing that I could make a lot of money. I knew I wanted to, but I always had difficulty in that process. And then I had to go back and realize that the learning came from past programming, which wasn't even my programming. But I had to go within groups, within courses, to really understand all of this. And today, moving forward, it's great. So sometimes we got to sit back, and sometimes you got to recognize things within your team members. If they're not showing up on 2 or 3 calls in a row, you realize that there's something going on. Don't just leave it. Okay. You want to get in touch with the people, recognize these things. It's very, very important.
One thing that's really, I'm sorry, Tim, I thought you were pausing.
No, it's good.
One thing that's really important here is seek first to understand and then to be understood. I know you've heard me say that a few times, and I use examples if our governments in country would just apply that rule. I mean, war would be a non-existent thing. But folks, it is really as simple as that. And sometime in the heat of the moment, we're red, we're angry, we're uncomfortable, we're whatever the situation may be, that puts us into that state that we're just not listening and we're just kind of sharing out, right? That is a problem. So very important when someone comes to you with a problem, right? Listen, pay attention to what they are telling you. Just that alone is 80% of the solution. Just listen. Because when you listen, that person that has an issue or a problem feels that bulk, that load that they've been carrying is unloaded. And the moment you do that, or you give that person the opportunity to do that, then now they're in a position they're more relaxed. They're less red. They become more receptive. In the same time, you understand their point of view. So you could better comment on how to respond to whatever situation they're facing. This is how you're able to grow a team. And despite all the challenges that you might be facing here over time, sorry, I lost my frame of thought with this call that came in on Facebook. But see, the fact here is that take the time to listen and really pay attention that are telling you, and not about what you want to tell them because you want to respond. Forget about that. Focus on what they're telling you. And that's my point. That's what I'm going to get at. This is how I've been able to maintain and grow an organization. Folks, you wouldn't believe the challenges that Tammy and I had to deal with from 2016 till now. And we got into major momentum before, obviously, COVID. But the fact here is it could have been the other way and it could have been completely flatlined. We sat down, we understood, we listened. Then we brought the people that were important to respond to that issue. And then, boom, problems were solved. Some people were inspired. Some of those people were inspired others. And boom, 2017, 2018 was an explosion of growth, right? That was because of that rule right there. Stephen Covey. Seek first to understand and then be understood. Because you can grow an organization instead of imploding it. Really important. And the last point as we finish here is honesty. People grow if they meet life honestly, courageously, right? That is how character is built. It's all based on trust. It takes a year. It takes forever to build trust. It takes a second to lose it. We all know that. What are your points on that, Tammy?
Absolutely. And sometimes it can take years to build it back if you have good relationships, but sometimes it doesn't happen at all. So you remember, we are in a people business and service is the key. If you want to succeed in network marketing, you want to be making your focus on people. Okay.
I agree.
Stay the course and focus and be consistent. And that has been our recipe for success over the years. Is Chris and I, we never get sidetracked. We always have our goal in front of us, and we're always doing things to move towards that goal. Sometimes we're not fast, but we're still moving towards it. So that's the key is know what you want, know the end outcome, know your 5 people or the people you need to help get there. You may be new in the business. So at this point, it's about you and learning and growing and taking some actions to get your first, and then get your second, your third, and then eventually you will get your 5 and hit your bonus. So the key is to stay focused.
I cannot stress enough on that. Stay the course. And now that we've kind of shared with you some of the protocol, the basic foundation, because at the end of the day, folks, what we're about to tell you, it's very simple and duplicatable. But without the foundation, it doesn't matter what we tell you. It won't make the slightest difference for you. So what we share with you here this evening is critical for you to be able to sustain whatever it is that we're about to share right now. So what is our system? Well, the fact is we weekly plug in and play the system. That's what it is. Weekly plug plus play the system. So what does that entitle to? It says weekly team trainings, weekly opportunity meetings, weekly in-home. Do they know how to do an in-home? I know that today I can't fail mentioning that we do need to take precautions, and because we're in different era, but understand that it's still there, it's still valid, right? Do you have the slide PowerPoints? Do you know where it is? Do you just rely on someone else all the time? And you can, and I'll show you what you can do, but do you have access to those slides? Can you actually do a presentation yourself? And that's how you grow an organization. That's how we've been able to maintain our ranks, and many of our leaders maintain their ranks. It's because they are in a plug and play, and it's repeated weekly, over and over and over and over. So, in moving forward, what is it? What's the system? Well, we have a team support site. And then from there, one thing I wanted to mention, I'll come back to that in a minute, but you have the resources over here. When you click on resources, there's different sections that you can get into, like downloading the PowerPoints and many other things in different languages, right? Subscribe. We'll talk about that in a minute. Really important, because when you subscribe, your team will be notified the moment. I'll come back to that in a second. And also we have French and English. Now I also have Spanish there, but that's a Google Translate in Spanish. So I'm not sure how good it is, Lou, so you'll have to let me know. The other point here that's really important here is the active team training. If you click on that little red button on the website, what it'll do is it will subscribe you to the active team training. I'll come back to that in a minute and show you what's there. And the moment we upload a file, for example, this evening, it's too late for people that are in Africa, right? In the Philippines, well, they're waking up. It's in the morning. So for some people, it may be convenient. For some, it may not. So the fact here is that the moment we upload the video, you get notification of a new video on that channel. And right away, you can turn around and listen to it, or whenever it's appropriate for you, right? So everything that Tammy and I do, it's designed to be plug and play. And this is the activeteamtraining.com, right? So for example, when you go here, this is activeteamgroup.com. That's the website. And now we're getting into the activeteamtraining.com. That is where all the team training session will take place, right? If you register your email on the activeteamgroup.com, you will be notified of all the Monday night Zoom training call sessions, right? And you'll also be notified of all the presentations that we'll come back to in a minute, right? If you subscribe to the activeteamtraining.com channel, as I just stated earlier, you'll be notified of all the trainings conducted the moment they have been uploaded. I hope my English is good here. Okay? So the fact here is when you go to the activeteamtraining.com, it will take you to this channel, right? I wish I would have took a better shot of me here, but anyway. So the fact here is that you got all the training. Just recently, I did a training in French, and the team in Guinea was asking me, can we train the people on the comp plan? And I was getting calls with 14 questions and WhatsApp message. I have a hard time responding to 14 questions on WhatsApp. So I did a training for them, right? And it was about 2 hours because there was some Q&A at the end, and it ended up being really, really productive. I got some feedback this morning on how well organized the team is now because they have a clear vision on what is going on. You also have playlists over here. I want to talk about that a little bit. But Tammy, I know I kind of took over here because I want to respect our time. Did you want to add anything else before I move forward?
No, go ahead and share everything on the
Okay, perfect. So what's going on is when you go on the playlists, right? And this is all done in YouTube. Again, it's all plug and play. You don't have to do anything. You just need to upload your videos on YouTube and they're there. And I started creating some different playlists, right? because what's happening is there's a lot of different topics, right? Associate training back in 2016 and associate training in 2021. And we got, in some of the cases, you may not see these things because some are private. You need to be part of the Freedom Formula program to access those, right? But the fact here is that I'm just saying that everything is there. One thing that's important is the Success Cycle series. When someone registers on activeteam.com, as I said earlier, they get a welcome letter. In that welcome letter, there is a reference to the new associate orientation. And a new associate orientation will point you to the active team training. And from there, you also have access to the Success Cycle series. I really recommend that you get your new people to go through this. If I'm telling you, if your new people go through this, if they're willing to do their homework, by the time they call you, they are going to be ready with guests. So you can be focusing on the money-making activities instead of focusing so much time training people. You don't need to do this anymore. It's just a point-and-click world. Send them to the information, and if they choose not to watch it, well, that's their commitment. Here's your answer. But if they do watch it, what's going to happen is you're going to have educated members within your organization. You want to be successful in Max? You want to make money in Max? This is a really good way to qualify if someone is committed. And what better way than when they're just starting and their commitment and their motivation is at the highest level before they start getting the negative relatives and things like, right? It's the best time right now for them to get the proper knowledge on what to do. And then from there, what happens is then they will learn the next step is, okay, well, we have a maxlook.info. Well, that will actually point them to the original first two video, right? The video the company created, the Max Opportunity video, and the science video, so people can have a little bit of a, an understanding of the credibility of what it is that we're providing. We're not just selling snake oil for an opportunity. This is legitimate. This is the real deal, especially when it comes to immune system. Every day we hear about the immune system being compromised because of whatever's out there. Well, I'm telling you, having a strong immune system, I couldn't stress how important it is, right? So after they've seen that, now they're interested. Now there's an interest. If they're not interested, don't worry about it. That means that they didn't qualify. Don't think, well, the tools doesn't work. No, they do work. I'm telling you, they do work. Because someone's not interested, it doesn't mean it didn't work. That means that these people probably would have quit anyway if they would have signed up with you. But when you go through this and they're still on board and you want more, you know you got someone that is committed, right? And I also understand that there's different markets. It could be in the Philippines. You may have your own approach. Whatever it is, if it's in Ghana, if it's in Nigeria, whatever it is, that approach that you feel works, that introduction, make sure they go through it. Once they do that, then we have what we call live presentations, live webinars, right? I know that Bill and Linda, they are phenomenal Max presenters. I wish I could go, but every time I tour at 4 o'clock, I have mentoring sessions, I got team calls, I got things, and I keep missing since it started. I want to go and see it, and every time I got some book calls. But the fact here, folks, is that they are really good calls, right? They're great information, and I suggest that you don't show up alone. Bring guests with you. So if you happen to be registered on the Active Team group site, then you will get all the, you'll be notified of all the North American live presentations, right? There's one on Thursdays. Lately, it's been Scott and Mireille, because I believe Jasmine happens to be in Mexico, and there's no internet for the next 2 or 3 weeks, which you didn't anticipate. It's just life is. And then from there, Scott and Mireille are doing their presentation, right? So that's on at 8 o'clock on Wednesday, at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. And Tammy and I started applying the brand new Max presentation, right? So we're having fun with it. And we got some great feedback. We're going to keep sharing it and see how it goes. And if you prefer the old one, you can certainly stick with the old one. And that's totally fine. At the end of the day, it provides information on the product. It provides information on the fact that we have an opportunity. And at the end, it provides an opportunity for someone to decide if they want to go further or not. And here's what's really important. is events. See, events are the most powerful form of duplication in your business. I am not kidding. The goal is to have more people on your team at each event. That's really important. The more people knowing and doing exactly what you do will equal duplication. Duplication, folks, equals freedom. That's how I went from the poverty environment to the abundance environment through Max International. That's what brought me the freedom. Okay? That's the duplication. And events is what fuel that. Right? So in this case, Tammy, I'm going to let you talk on that a little bit, which is so important. The last two is just really the details on the event. You can find that on the blog.max.com. The details are there. It is in October. Why is there a specific date? Because there are many dates in October. You can see here the North American webinar, which is USA, Canada, Puerto Rico, right? October 21st. Latin America, it's November 17th. In Asia, it's on October 13th. In Africa, it's November 13th and 20th, right? And in the Australian area, New Zealand, it's October 22nd. Okay, so these are the events. Now the question is, maybe some of you are not aware of this. If you're not aware of this, it's because you're probably not aware of the blog.max.com. You never go there. So it's important that if you're in business, that you are plugged into your environment and you know where to get what you need to be informed of what is upcoming. Back to you, Tammy.
And you want to be able to share this on your social media platforms, within your team groups, and plug this in and have people engaging and registering and help people open their minds to the possibility of not just associates attending these events, but who do you know in these markets, right? So you may not be up to hit a different market that you're not locally in, but you may have prospects that you've been connecting with that live in these markets that can get on one of these major events, unless you have a schedule like us where you can just go to sleep in the day and wake up at night, you know what I mean, and do stuff like that. But those who have schedules, working jobs and stuff, we understand you can't get on everything, but you might know people who can benefit and see the big picture of Max International, because they always have really, really great events. And we're fortunate to be able to travel in these markets and be able to go and attend some of these conventions. And it will be back flowing. I believe that next year will be the year that things will get so much better. And I can't wait to get back to the live conventions, because they're a lot of fun. But virtual conventions, everybody can do. That's the key, is every single person can get on virtual events. And they don't have to worry about travel, the expenses that it costs in traveling to go to major events. They just have to be in their pajamas from the bottom down and a blouse from the top up, and they're in. They're in convention. It's cool.
Yeah, I'm in my pajama, guys. Here's my pajama bottom, right? Here's my shirt, right? And it's all, who cares? So at the end of the day here, folks, what we shared with you here are principles. And if you follow, you will get results. And understand, folks, that it is a numbers game. Okay, not everyone is going to follow. And I really appreciate the feedback here, Janet. And that's correct. It's the reminding of the success cycle and the qualification. That's correct. I mean, these tools, for me, it's always been, it's a leader that told me that years ago in my previous company before I started Max. When I started, I was discouraged and people came in and they quit, or the people saw this and they didn't show up, and I did all of that and they're not interested, blah, 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 right? I've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. And at the end of the day, the guy said to me, that Chris, these tools qualifies your prospects, so you don't waste time with the wrong people. So don't fear the tools. Utilize the tools. I am not kidding. So Tammy, is there a last word you want to finish as we end this call?
I just want to say congratulations to Janet for signing up that new lady from Venezuela. Congratulations for doing that, Janet. And I know we did a three-way call, and I was telling this lady that that the Spanish market in Canada is absolutely wide open. She was literally blown away, and she's so hungry, and she wants to get into it and get this going. So congratulations for that, Janet. I mean, the daily actions that you do is important to create momentum in your businesses.
Yes.
So stay the course, stay focused, one step at a time, step up, not step back, one step at a time, and learn in the process. Stay plugged into learnings and trainings, pick up a book, always evolve and grow yourself personally.
Yeah, and I also want to congratulate Paul Testament for his commitment to his organization. And Paul, I know that it's been a long journey and you're doing extremely well, and congratulations. And I know that it's going to be amazing, and I look forward to the future with your team. So again, folks, stay the course. Congratulations to all of you, Bill and Linda, for being committed to their calls every single week. And I know that Scott, you'll be filling in for Jasmine and Mireille. Congratulations for your commitment on the Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Stay the course, people. Stay the course. Don't think because, oh, it's not changing. So it's making a difference. I'm telling you, it's making a difference.
And I just
So,
want to recognize Lucy, because Lucy is constantly out there building in international markets, French and English market, and for all the French translation that you do. I mean, it's so amazing because you're constantly sharing within
in fact,
the organization, regardless whether they're part of your team. So I want to recognize that.
yes, I agree, and I apologize for this because Lucy been committed, and she has a phenomenal French presentation twice a week. Committed, same thing. And again, well done, Lucy. And I know you're building your team. You're doing well. Your commitment in the translation. You're so committed to this team. Thank you so much for that. So everybody, listen. Have yourself a wonderful evening. Thank you for your attendance this evening, and thank you for participating. This is phenomenal. Have a great evening, everyone, and bye for now.